Good morning, Andrew. Yes, it's been a sleepless night, and I'm sure just like the thousands of fans who've come here at the Mulpani Cricket Stadium, we've had an anxious night, to say the least. UAE versus Nepal. As you rightly called it, the El Clasico of associate cricket. I think it's one of the biggest rivalries in cricket, and I absolutely can't wait for the first ball to be bowled. Khalid Shah, on your screens right now, has been very impressive with the bat at the top. Would want to get some runs for himself, while it's going to be Karan Casey to start the proceedings for Nepal.
Yeah, big first couple of weeks in international cricket for Khalid Shah, isn't it? He's shown so much in the domestic game there in the UAE. They've shown faith with him. And with the retirement of Chirag Suri, they've decided to go with the left-hander at the top, and no surprise to see UAE unchanged. I've watched as much as I could of your Group B action, the group of death it was. That really went down, not just to the final ball, it went down to the last decimal point, in fact, to see who would qualify. And just maybe, as I said in the prelude, maybe it was written in the stars, it just had to be this way. They'll stake a claim that they're the two best associate sides in Asia, but today it can only be one that will go to a World Cup. Karan Casey, fresh from that player of the match performance, player of the series performance in the tri-series that preceded this, will take the new ball from the Gokarna Forest end. We're all set, here we go. And the atmosphere is already building up nicely. Shoaib, how good is Mohammad Waseem, and how much will his performance today dictate the fate of this contest?
Well, there's a reason why we call him the superstar of UAE. He holds the key, just like Dipendra Singh Airi is for Nepal in recent times. Has been phenomenal, Dipendra Singh Airi. But yes, Mohammad Waseem, he has that big role to play, not only as a captain but as a batter right at the top.
Vintage Mohammad Waseem. That's what he does. It's his favourite zone too. It's stand and deliver stuff. It's so effective though. If he gets going, his crowd will be silenced again and again. And it's a boundary from the second ball.
That was in the slot. And Mohammad Waseem, as you rightly mentioned, he'll not miss out on those. That is bread and peanut butter for Mohammad Waseem. And he's done well. He's this shot will definitely calm a lot of nerves, not only between the two, Waseem and Khalid Shah, but in the dugout as well.
Guided out towards one of the two sweepers. It'll actually be the backward point that cuts it off. But it's a split field at the moment. There's a deep backward point and a deep backward square leg. They don't want Waseem to be able to go down the ground, so that means the length is going to have to be back of a length from KC.
Yeah, anything in his zone, and he does like to play his shots, Mohammad Waseem. So that is going to be a challenge for Karan Casey, because predominantly we've seen Karan Casey bowl full with the new ball. Does have the tendency to move the ball in the air. So he'll have to change that just a bit so that he can challenge and pose the right questions to Mohammad Waseem. However, now it's going to be Khalid Shah, who's playing his first big game and one of the biggest games of his young career. Khalid Shah, as you rightly mentioned, has scored tons of runs in domestic cricket and has been called up to partner with Mohammad Waseem. But this is a different ball game altogether.
Good Yorker from KC, perhaps a little bit of a surprise ball. That's the longer side of the ground today. That's something to keep your eyes upon. We're touching 70 metres out towards what's now the offside for Mohammad Waseem, where Bibek Yadav has fielded that. The leg side for Waseem now, where we're commentating from the pavilion, it's much shorter. It's about a 59-metre boundary today, and that will be why Nepal have bowled the first over from the Gokarna Forest end. Right-handers on strike. They don't want to allow access to the short side in the 20th.
Well, when Mohammad Waseem gets going, to be honest, no boundary is short enough or big enough for him. And that is why he's so good. On the off, goes up and over and towards the bigger part of the boundary. And that has gone the distance. That's how sweetly timed it was. Mohammad Waseem, he's looking dangerous.
Stunning. A stunning stroke of the highest quality from Mohammad Waseem. And again, every time KC runs up, there's a cacophony of noise from the fans, but the ball flies off Waseem's bat. They are set to deathly silence, almost pin drop. Just a bit of width on offer again, not the right length from KC.
Just too full and too wide from Karan Casey. He'll have to attack the stumps. Oh, that's a good delivery. Sharp bounce, he's appealing for it. And so are the 10,000 fans with him. But it's going to be a dot ball to end the over. Good one for UAE. It's 12 for no loss.
I don't think there was anything on that. But sharp bounce, steepling bounce, in fact, from KC. A much better length, the length that Wasim will find.
Real fruit बाट बनेको real juice मा छ real nutrition, real taste, र real happiness. त्यसैले त real juice, real हो नि.
हो लाइफबॉय ह्यान्ड वाशले मार्छ 99.9% भाइरसेस. त्यसैले पम्प रब छु संसारकै नम्बर 1 सेलिङ जर्म प्रोटेक्सन सोप ब्रान्ड.
20 वर्षदेखि ग्राहकहरूको चाहनालाई सम्बोधन गर्दै निरन्तर अघि बढ्दै सिद्धार्थ बैंक सम्बन्ध सधैँभरिलाई.
Well, it's been pretty good. And as I always say, it's not 2 teams but 3 teams on the ground who need to have a good day so that we all can have a good day of cricket. It's the batting team, the bowling team and the team of the umpires, the 2 umpires out there. And that's what it's been so far.
I can tell you from experience that they were a little bit later than they would have liked to have been this morning, because I got to the main road, which is about a 200-yard walk down the hill probably, at about 9:50, and there was a throng, a huge number of fans, I think both those with and without tickets, as Cammy's ready to go. Heads into the pad, going to angle down the leg side. Will be a leg by most likely, given as runs, maybe a bit of glove involved. Given as runs, Cammy doesn't look too pleased with that one. But at about 9:50 I was there. It took me maybe 20-25 minutes to get up the hill. Lots of people wanting to ask me who they thought was going to win and say namaste, good morning. And maybe at about 10:05, the match officials bus drove past me coming up the hill, moving rather urgently. The Kathmandu traffic can catch even the most prepared out.
Well, it is electrifying out there, to say the least, and I can understand. I'm just down the hill. The resort that we are put up in, absolutely wonderful place. But for me to get to the ground, it normally takes 5 minutes. Today it took 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was carnage out there is the only way to put it, really. Flicked away, and that's an elegant stroke. You can see what Cammy's trying to do. He's trying to go stump to stump. He doesn't want to allow Wasim to free his arms. But again, it's just that little bit too full, and Wasim gets enough of it to get 4 more.
Down the pads, and not the ideal delivery. And nicely flicked. Normally you don't see Wasim flicking the ball. He's more of a butcher than a surgeon. But that time he's just shown his class.
Better length that time. Just pulls it back. Good to see Powell continuing to attack. The slip, or sort of floating slip as it were, is in place. And superhuman stuff from this man, Dipender Singh Airi. He rolled, and from what we believe, sprained his ankle on Monday at about 8:20 a.m. Just leaping to take a catch, doing Dipender Singh Airi things, and he landed on the right ankle, hyperextended to the side. So you can see, I think it definitely looks a bit thicker around that right angle. There's probably some protection, some padding on there. It's a big swing and a miss from Wasim. Every ball's going to be an event here today, Shoaib.
Well, you're sitting just besides me and I can hardly hear you. That's how loud it is. Just beating the outside edge of the bat. That's a much better delivery. Just very close to the off stump. That's where Wasim is a bit vulnerable. Sompal Kami will want to exploit that. Decent comeback after giving away a 4. He's pulled 2 consecutive dot balls, so that will give him some confidence as well. But Wasim has looked good, and that's not good news for Nepal.
Cut away, but straight to Bibek Yadav. No doubt you were keeping half an eye on the TU yesterday. What about that young man's innings?
Well, I think you're right. We were just a little dishonest with our duties here because we were all focused on that game between Oman and Nepal. And as we were all expecting Nepal to win that game and top the table and stay there, and UAE playing their semi-final here. But destiny had different plans, and we've got you in the com box here, so can't complain.
What beauty to close out the second over. It's a good one from Cammy, just 5 from it. 17 for none. Yeah, we've had to have a bit of a shuffle, haven't we? I took a very, very long taxi drive and you had a nice walk up the hill, Sean. I know which shoes I'd rather be in.
Dabur Red Bayfresh Gel is in town.
Bayfresh, be ready with Bayfresh. Be ready with Bayfresh. Bayfresh, be ready with Bayfresh. Be ready with Bayfresh. Bayfresh, be ready with
Dabur Red Bayfresh Gel. Be bay ready with 12 hours deep freshness.
Be ready with Bayfresh.
दादा बाहिर भाइरस छ
नडराउ मात्र पम्प रब छु गर्दियो भाइरसलाई
पम्प रब छु
हो लाइफबोय ह्यान्ड वाशले मार्छ 99.9% भाइरसेस त्यसैले पम्प रब छु संसारकै नम्बर 1 सेलिङ जर्म प्रोटेक्सन सोप ब्रान्ड
Finisher, and Alassane Sharafu, who's been rich with promise and potential for so long for the UAE, he's starting to deliver upon that. Sticking a power hitter at the top in the shape of Khalid Shah. It's a pretty good-looking UAE side all of a sudden. There's a reason why they got a first victory over a test nation earlier in the year in the shape of New Zealand.
Yeah, team's shaping up really well. We've pointed out quite a few reasons to that. Basil Hamid has taken that position and he's made it his own. He's not a middle order finisher by any means, but he's adapted to that role. He's worked hard. He's trained hard to fit into that position. And it was very smart of him to do that because he saw there's an opportunity in the UAE batting lineup. That's where he could cement his place. He's changed, he's adapted, and he's done well for himself. Alassane Sharafu, he's made a comeback, so that's good news for UAE. Hopefully things go well.
Cut away for 4. Beautiful stroke. Just for a moment, deep backward point, thought maybe that's coming in my trajectory, my vicinity. But it went well behind square and ran away quickly for 4. Wasim up to his usual antics.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad field placement with that covers fielder right on the boundary ropes. Just that he played it late, it sliced it over backward point, and it's gone for 4. You can't be bowling outside off to Mohammad Wasim. And Karan Casey has just looked a bit off colour today. Hasn't been his usual self, has bowled way too wide outside off. Would want to change that ASAP.
Down the ground, mid-off runs back, but he's just going to watch it go over his shoulder as Wasim shuffles arrogantly almost down the pitch to get a good piece of it and get back-to-back boundaries. This time it's all the way for 6.
That was as if he knew where Karan Casey was going to bowl. Just used his feet, got close to that ball and hit that over mid-off. Rohit Patel can only get the ball back from the boundary ropes. This is batting of the highest caliber from Mohammad Wasim, the captain, leading from the front.
KC was outstanding in the Tri-Series, 10 wickets, where there was a lot of early movement on offer. We were just coming out of the monsoon season. The pitches were very different. They were a bit greener, a little bit damper, tackier. And that one is bowled from 24 yards. It's a seam bowling Mark Watt delivery, as we saw him execute in the Asian Games. But since then, Shoaib, since he's come into this high-pressure qualifier,